Welcome everyone into another episode of Titans 2. The week has come to face our dreaded enemy under the lights of a time so prime that even this rhyme cannot unwind the terrible crime of a chime so sublime that echoes a lifetime of hatred for the Colts.
That was really impressive and kind of weird. What do you think about my beard?
It rhymes over, dude. Rhymes over.
Yes. Okay, so what I gathered from your rhyme here is that we face off against the our most dreaded and hated rival, the Indianapolis Colts. And if you can even call this a rivalry, because the Colts have taken the last 11 straight games against the Titans. I mean, that is 5 years since we have last beaten the Colts.
Which is, if you're still in kindergarten, that's a lifetime.
Yeah, that's all that those people have ever known is the Colts winning against the Titans. Embarrassing.
So let's get into the breakdown, Justin. Surprisingly, the Colts and the Titans have the exact same record coming into this game. Both teams are sitting at a record of 2-3. I say surprisingly because the Colts have managed to win 2 games without their starting quarterback Andrew Luck playing a snap this year. Now, the 2 teams they have beaten have a combined record of 0-10, the Browns and the 49ers, and they needed overtime to beat the 49ers last week at home. The Colts have once again announced that he will not be ready for this game, which is infuriating because I sure want to beat the crap out of him because Andrew Luck has never lost to us either.
Regardless, it isn't the offense, though, that is these 2 teams' main troubles. It's the defense. And just looking at the numbers here, the Titans' defense is giving up 28.4 points per game, which is tied for 30th most, in the NFL. A lot of that's probably from that Houston game, though, but still, averages are averages. But meanwhile, the Colts is actually last in the NFL in giving up points per game at 31.8. So we might be seeing a lot of points in this game, especially if Mariota plays, but that is to be determined.
If you want to win games in the NFL, you gotta score more points than the opponent. That's often a key factor that gets overlooked. We can talk about X's and O's all day, but if you don't outscore your opponent, you ain't gonna win.
The Titans secondary will be facing off against the Colts quarterback Jacoby Brissett, however you want to pronounce it. He's been their starting quarterback ever since they acquired him from the Patriots in a trade in Week 1, because in Week 1, Scott Tolzien was the quarterback, and he wasn't going to take them anywhere. He's done surprisingly well so far. Not great, but well. If you look at his numbers, though, he does almost have 1,000 yards passing with 2 touchdowns, which doesn't seem like a lot, but he is also a threat running the football. He does have 3 rushing touchdowns for him this year.
And his main target, to no surprise, is longtime enemy of the state of Tennessee, Mr. T.Y. Hilton, who's averaging 19.4 yards a catch, and already has almost 500 yards receiving on the year, which most of them come from last week's game where he put up 177 against the 49ers.
Let's not forget about Dante Moncrief, who is equally as capable of torching the Titans secondary. He's a big red zone threat for them as well. At tight end, they have I Am Jack's complete lack of surprise Doyle. If you remember the Titans games last year, he torched us in both games, but especially that first game we played him at home. So hopefully, you know what, I'm expecting Jayon Brown to have a big role in this game to limit that tight end production. Hopefully Jayon Brown can neutralize the Doyle factor.
Oh, Doyle, I got a feeling your whole family's going down.
It will be another tough matchup for the secondary. If there's any consolation for them, it's that Andrew Luck is not playing. Because if he were playing, I would say that they have absolutely no hope whatsoever. And though they seemed to play well last week, I would almost consider that game some sort of anomaly because of how bad Miami's offense and Cutler was. This will be a really telling game for them because even without Luck, Jacoby Brissett poses much more of a threat than Jay Cutler did. And I hate to say it, but until I see something better out of this Titans secondary, I gotta give the Colts the edge.
Colts get the edge in passing versus our secondary, but how about our passing versus their secondary? Well, I've got some good news and bad news. The good news is that the Colts are giving up 294 passing yards per game, which is 30th in the league. But don't laugh too much, because the Titans' passing offense is putting up a pedestrian 183 passing yards per game. So it's a fight of two lessers, to put it poorly.
I mean, that's like a pedestrian who's like handicapped. Ooh, almost. Is that?
He would get good parking though.
Honestly, this comes down to one thing. If Marcus Mariota will play, which at the time of filming this, we do not know, or if we'll have to suffer through watching Matt Castle try and find his way around a football field again. Now, I know Marcus hasn't looked sharp by any means so far to start the year, but I think it's obvious to anyone watching that the offense looks completely different with Matt Castle at the helm.
This is a hard category to pick because the Colts, they do seem to give up a lot of production in terms of yardage, but they do have some playmakers back there. They've got Malik Hooker, who's already got 3 interceptions on the season as a rookie. He seems to be the ball hawker that he was at Ohio State. They've also got Vontae Davis, a seasoned veteran corner who's capable of shutting down one of our receivers. So it really does all come down to your one thing.
But if Mariota plays, I think we get the edge in this category. If he doesn't, I'm going to call it a push. Shit. Alright, on to Indianapolis's run game versus Tennessee's front 7. Justin, tell me a little bit about this matchup.
I was just reading about it, and so far, the Indianapolis Colts running game has been pretty mediocre so far.
Seems to be the trend of this team.
Yeah, they've got Frank Gore, who's, man, he's just getting old, but he's still producing at a mediocre level.
If Gore was all they had, I would say the Titans front 7 clearly has the edge. I mean, Gore is only averaging 3.2 yards a tote so far. But it seems like they have a budding star on their hands in their 4th round draft pick out of Southern Florida, Marlon Mack, who rushed for 91 yards on only 10 carries last week against the 49ers. So he's giving them a big play threat at the running back position that the Titans are going to have to account for. While Mack may be the next hot fantasy pickup star, I don't like his odds against the Titans.
That's right.
No, he's not. I don't like his odds. Don't pick him up.
And as we aforementioned, Brissett is not shy also in tucking the ball and running it. He's a threat in the red zone to take it the distance.
We have yet to give up a 100-yard rusher this year, and we held one of the premier backs in the league, Mr. Jay Ajayi, to only 3.1 yards a carry last week with 77 yards. While our front 7 hasn't been that great in terms of pressuring the passer, they've been pretty solid in run support, so I think they get the edge in this one. Would you agree?
Oh, that was juicy. Yes, though, I do agree. We are moving on to our next category, the Titans rushing attack versus the Indianapolis front 7. After having a classic dominant performance against the Seahawks in Week 3, our smash mouth run game in the next 2 games has been anything but smash.
It doesn't feel like this coaching staff has a proper grip on how to utilize the running talent they have in the backfield. There's no doubt that Murray and Henry are talented backs, but when and how they're used just seems to be a head-scratcher.
Derrick Henry, that is, was all but forgotten against the Dolphins last week. He only played 11 snaps. He got the ball 4 times. Mularkey himself said that they needed to get the ball to him more. Yeah, no duh. I feel like I've heard him say that a couple times.
We just gotta do a better job of getting Henry more involved. Yeah, dude!
And as for DeMarco Murray, though, he was averaging 4.1 yards per carry on 14 carries in a game that was never really out of hand. So what's kind of the issue here with our running game?
What type of running game are the Titans gonna bring to the Colts on Monday night? Because honestly, outside of Todd Gurley, the Colts haven't really faced a running back talent like we have.
They are led by Jabal Sheard, who leads the team with 2.5 sacks, who's actually had a decently productive career. He's played on a few different teams up to this point. Jonathan Bostic leads their team in tackles with 40, and John Simon, another important piece on that front 7, who's had some success. I don't know. But in comparing our running attack versus the Colts front 7, I'm going to show a little bit of my bias here, but also my optimism. In the games that we haven't been producing, it's either been self-inflicted or because of the game situation where the game was already completely out of hand. So I'd say the Titans have the clear advantage here, but we will have to find out on Monday night.
Edge Titans.
On to our last category, breakdown, the special teams.
Special teams.
If there was an MVP last week for the Titans, it would have to be our punter, Brett Kern. If we were able to score points by punting, we would have beaten the Dolphins. My man Kern punted 10 times for an average of 54 yards per punt, downing 4 of them inside the 20-yard line, and his long punt of 71 yards is actually the longest punt in the NFL this season so far. The man's on another level when punting the football, so we should be able to have this field position battle in our favor.
We also have a very solid kicker in Ryan Suckup, but I think the Colts have the better place kicker. I mean, Adam Vinatieri is kind of in a league of his own. At age 44, he hit over 2 50-yarders last week against the 49ers, including the game-winning one in overtime.
Yeah, I'd like to see him try to kick a game-winning Super Bowl field goal. As far as the Colts return game goes, Quan Bray is the return man for him, but he's nothing special when you're looking at the numbers. He's averaging 3.8 yards on punt returns and a meager 20.3 yards on kickoff returns.
Meager. Very meager. And we all know our return guy, Adoree Jackson. I know he hasn't seen the end zone yet, but seriously, it's only a matter of time before this guy scores a return touchdown. He's currently averaging 11.8 yards a punt return. Eyes up, Guardian.
As long as this game doesn't come down to a late field goal battle, I would give the Titans the edge as an overall special teams unit.
Agreed.
Though Vinatieri can kick the daylights out of the foosball.
Well, that is our breakdown. Looks like the Titans get 3, the Colts get 1, and 1's just a push. So Justin, let's get into keys of the game and prediction. What is going to be your key for this epic matchup?
It's so key. This is such a key game. Would you say this is almost must-win territory? Because if we lose this game, the Colts go to 3-3, and we're the bottom dwellers in the division.
That's going to be a tough hole to climb out of. I am going to go ahead and say that this is as must-win a game in the first half of the season as you can get.
My key is we have to not give up the big plays. No big plays. We can't let T.Y. Hilton torch us for a 60-yard reception or 70-yard touchdown reception. We can't let anybody go over the top on us, because that would open up things, I think, for their running game if they have success downfield. So yeah, I say limit the big plays. No big plays, control the ball on offense. No turnovers. Technically, that's 2 keys, but I cheated. But mostly no big plays. Mostly you can't give up big plays on defense.
I mean, you got to have a house key and a car key, am I right? So we'll let that slide. But what's your score prediction then for Monday night?
I think it's going to be 20-16, Titans win.
I like it.
Thanks. I thought of it just now.
My key to the game, regardless of if Mariota or Castle starts, but especially if Matt Castle starts, is we have to be able to sustain drives. And I think the key in that key is converting on third down. We were abysmal last week, only going, 2 of 13 on third down conversions. There's no way we should be able to win a game by doing that. That's looking at, signs of like a 2 to 3 win team like we were in the past. That's not the Titans right now. We have to be better at converting on third downs, and honestly, I think that starts with our play in the first and second down, which we were not good at against the Dolphins. Just gotta be better, Titans. I think the Titans are gonna win on Monday night, break the curse of the Colts at home. I think it's going to be low scoring, though. I'm going to go 17-13 Titans.
All right. Hey, we both picked 4-point differences. I just think Suckup's going to make another field goal, and Vinatieri's going to make another field goal.
No, Suckup's not making any field goals in my prediction.
You said 17-13.
Yep.
So how are they going to score 17?
We will get 5 safeties and a touchdown.
Well, so that's it.
That's it. That's our predictions.
Sweet.
You know what I'm really excited for? To pound the Colts in primetime in Madden.
Yeah.
What say you?
Let's get it done.
Let's get it done.
Let's get it done on the Monday night against the Colts.
You better be watching this Madden challenge. This is gonna be hype as app. It's gonna be hype app.
Hype app, bro.
Oh wow. Okay, we need to stop this.
God, please.
Frank Gore breaking through.
Breaking.
Obvious. I think the differences in the.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was good.
Okay.
Oh.
Put your pinky fingers to the.
Who is it? Would it be like someone that rhymes with Charlene Snack?
But. Do you think I can get? But they've been out.
How many butts you gonna throw out here, bruh?
But
don't sink. How do you have this written? As well, I am. Why didn't you write my line in rhymes? That way I can flow.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Just cut there. And
Delay of game. Caleb texting. 5-minute penalty.
Shut up.
Resume the last take.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
the
All
offense.
right, I got it. Shut up.
He's always a red throne Zet.
I like those words you're coming up with.
Man, this is a good episode.
Big stuff for Colin. City's name.
Syllable hogs.
Tennessee,
Save some for the rest of us.
Indianapolis.
You don't even have enough fingers.
10 syllables.
Sounds good. Great. I'm glad it sounds good to you. Kissy face. Like, good grief. How about some space, woman? Shoo.
Space.
Derrick Henry. So, he is the best player.
Sorry.
Rude.
Sorry.
They should
Quan?
disband.
Just go ahead and name him Swan or Quinn. I don't know. That is clever. Miami.
That was last week, brother.
Yeah, sorry.
I think we covered it. Preview over.
Titans win.